guys, Miss Cagle here. I just want to go ahead and give you the down low on what we are doing for Unit 8. We only have 2 units left. Unit 8, which will get us through May 4th, and then Unit 9, which will give us through May 11th. And May 11th is the final day of the semester. I do want to thank you guys for the work that you have put in, especially since we have transitioned all of your courses into an online situation. I will say that I know that that is complicated. While we are continuing to be online and nothing has really changed for this online class, I know that trying to manage your time, doing everything at home, everything online, some of you are still working, is pretty complicated. So luckily, these last 2 units are fairly simple. Basically, the semester kind of starts going downhill in terms of difficulty once you get past the technical report, which I'm going to work on grading this weekend. My goal is to have all of our grades up to date by in the next couple days. I'm actually going to work on that today. Anyways, so today we're going to talk about follow-up letters. Last week you did a resume and a cover letter for a possible job that you would someday want to get, or a dream job you want to have. Today we're going to talk about the follow-up letter. So I'm going to give you guys some notes on follow-up letters that you guys can refer back to, and then we will talk about the assignment. So basically, anytime you get a job interview, you should always have in mind that you need to send a follow-up letter thanking the interviewer for the opportunity of the interview. Sorry. Giving the interviewer an opportunity to know that you are grateful for the opportunity to interview for the position that you're in. I feel like that separates the good applicants from the mediocre applicants. You want to send this within 2 business days of your interview as well. So the best thing you can do is to always ask for a business card from the interviewer. That way you can spell their name correctly. You don't want to send a thank you letter or a follow-up letter to whom it may concern. That's just really vague. So you want to know the person's name that interviewed you. You want to get a business card so you can spell it correctly, and then send it within a day or 2 after the interview. It is more of a formality and a nice touch, but it also shows you're still interested in the job. A lot of times people will interview for a job and accept a job from somewhere else. So there's no closure for the person that interviewing the possible employee. So you want to let the people know that you're interested in the job still, even after the interview. Because sometimes too, when you go in for an interview and you get a taste of the person that you are going to be working with, it turns you off from the job. Maybe you just aren't a good fit. So by sending the thank you letter, it also lets the employer know that you're still interested. So in your letter, always make sure that you're expressing gratitude for the interview. Once again, you're going to restate your qualifications for the job and why you feel that you're the best candidate for the position and that you're still interested in the job. So that should be very, very obvious within your paper. But it also allows you, as you're sitting down at your computer, to really reflect on the interview and elaborate on a response you gave or a wish you've been able to give. So here's an example of that. So you're driving home after the interview and second guessing yourself. Everyone does it. It's a normal thing. You were playing in your head of the questions the interview asked and the answers you gave. One of the questions stumped you. Perhaps he or she asked where you see yourself in 5 years. You really struggle with this question in the interview. But as you're driving along, you come up with a perfect response. It's not too late. You can still give them that response in your follow-up. Just state in your letter that as I reflected on the interview, I really started thinking about where I see myself in 5 years, and I really see myself at your company. And I was just very nervous in the interview, but I did want to explain that to you. On the other hand, let's say you had a great response to an interview question you thought would be asked, because you always want to prep yourself before the interview about what types of questions may be asked. You can work that in your follow-up letter as well. Say that this was something you didn't get a chance to discuss, but you know that you would be really good at this at your job, and then explain why. In your letter, you should also tell the reader to feel free to contact you if you need any more information about your qualifications. However, do not make salary or benefit requests. Remember, we talked about this in the last video, how in your resume and cover letter, you never want to bring up salary. You don't want to do that in the follow-up letter either. Salary and benefits are a conversation that you will have when they ask you if you want the job. That is when they'll get into the monetary things. You do not do that on your own. You should never be the person to make the topic of conversation be about money. That sounds greedy. If you think you need a higher salary than what's offered, once they offer you the job, then you start making those negotiations. Your letter should be no more than 1 page long. You don't need to write a manifesto for a follow-up letter. Your follow-up letter doesn't need to be 15 pages. But you're also keep in mind that you're not promised the job. So if you send them a letter full of grammar mistakes, they may say, you know what, never mind. Avoid writing really long sentences, which is a good rule of thumb for business writing, short, sweet, to the point. We've talked about that before. And remember that you want your words to have impact. So here are the guidelines for what you guys are going to write. You're going to use your return address and your proper ABC format. Address the letter to your interviewer or the person you used in your cover letter. If you do not remember how to write a professional letter, I've mentioned this already when we did cover letters last time, but if you're still confused on that, do go back and look at Unit 2 where we talked about how to write a professional business letter. So in the abstract, we're still going to use the ABC format, which is our formatting that we've used pretty much all semester long. In the abstract, you're going to use an appropriate introduction and express appreciation for the interview. This is 2 or 3 sentences, not 1. 2 or 3 sentences where you tell them that you appreciate the time they have taken for the interview and show your gratitude. In the middle paragraph, you need a few reasons why you would be the right choice for the position or express interest in something specific about the organization. So this is where you do a little bit of flattery, that you're going to take maybe 2 sentences to go over your qualifications again. Just a reminder that I would be a good applicant for this job because. And then you're also going to, I look forward to the possibility of working for you one day because. And in conclusion, you are going to close appropriately by using the final paragraph to restate your interest. Once again, I'd like to show interest in this position and then provide a hopeful closing. So I hope one day that we will have the opportunity to work together in the future or something like that. So it's going to be short, but I am going to grade it in this specific way. Your secret word for this lecture video is follow up. So please make sure you put that in. Moving back to Moodle. So your secret word assignment, and watch this video, is due by Thursday, April 30th. You're going to complete the follow-up letter assignment, which I went over with you. The guidelines for the assignment is here. Here are the notes that I just went over. You're going to turn it in here. And then the follow-up letter is due on May 4th, which is Monday, by 11:55 p.m. Guys, if you have any questions, make sure you email me. Like I said, I know that I've been a little slow to contact and contact back. I do try my best. And I've been a little slow to get things graded. I'm going to work on that today. But I have 3 jobs basically now. I'm a mother. I'm homeschooling a 9-year-old and a 4-year-old. I'm a high school teacher where I have 110 students that are doing online learning. So I'm grading it and I'm basically creating curriculum from scratch. And I have you guys. But I do appreciate your patience. So thank you guys so much. And I hope you have a great day.